You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to wave so that I know I need to cut all the stuff before that. All right. Hey, it's Pastor Kurt.
And John.
Today is Wednesday, February 3rd. Oh my goodness, we're in February already. How did I mean, 2020 dragged back so long, and it's like we're already 1/12 of the year gone. Oh! Anyway, we're continuing through the Bible, discipleship. John gets the blessing of joining me for Leviticus. Yay. So we're in chapter 9, verse 23 and 24. Actually, let me start in verse 22. It says, "Then Aaron lifted his hand toward the people and blessed them. Having sacrificed the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the fellowship offering, he stepped down. Moses and Aaron then went into the tent of meeting. And when they came out, they blessed the people. And the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions on the altar. And when all of the people saw it, they shouted for joy and fell face down." God's word for God's people. Let's say thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God. So, as I'm reading through the Bible with people, there's been a lot of good questions people have asked. And something, John, I don't know if you've heard over the years. I'm going to guess you have. But people talk about the New Testament and the Old Testament as if God somehow changes between the two. That, oh, I like the New Testament God so much better than the Old Testament God.
You hear that a lot.
You do hear that a lot. I've heard that so much. And as we've been going through the Bible, the conversation has been, oh, so God is sort of the same all through. Yeah.
Why can't we read it that way?
Yeah, why can't we read it that way? And here in this story, and as I told the Bible study, when you're reading through Leviticus, it's Rob Bell described it as a B-grade slasher film, where you're throwing blood everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you get past that, you realize this is God making a way for people to be in God's presence and to approach God. And for God to be with people in such a way that they know that they're okay. And so here in this story, in that just few verses, Aaron makes a sacrifice. And God's presence shows up and lets the people know that God is with them. It's a very cool story.
Pretty pertinent right now, too.
How so?
That he's with us right now, and I can't think of a time we've needed it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's different. We're having to do it different than we were done it, but we need it, and it's there. Sometimes you got to look a little harder.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that that God is with us, and we need it now more than ever. One thing that I've noticed as Elizabeth and I have talked. Oh, that was close. Almost knocked down my music stand. When we were in a very difficult season of ministry, when our whole family was sick because our parsonage had mold, we were able to get away from that because we were the ones going through the crisis, but my parents weren't. We were going through the crisis, but her parents weren't. And so we would go on vacation, and we would go away and we would visit, and we could take a break from it.
But you can't hide now, can you?
We can't take a break from this.
No.
And that's interesting because right now in this story, in Leviticus, in Numbers, Deuteronomy, this is the time when Israel was wandering in the desert for 40 years. And the symbol of the desert as a spiritual time is a time when, so you have 4 spiritual seasons. A season of delight where God is close and life is good. A season of silence where God doesn't seem like God is close, but life is still pretty good. The season of the desert, where life isn't so good because God is close. And you just can't put the snooze button on it. And then the season of darkness, where life is terrible and God seems to be absent. So I wonder if we are in a season of the desert,
Are we almost between 3 and 4 though?
Or are we in both, right?
Yeah.
We can't hit the snooze button.
No. And everybody's approaching it a little different.
Yeah, they are.
And that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to talk about.
It is.
It's difficult. So I don't know. It's a tough time. Obviously, we'll get through it.
Yeah.
But what's the cost going to be, and how long is it going to? Will we ever get rid of these things?
I don't know that we will.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm going to be writing as we walk here later today, telling people February 14th, we're coming back to in-person worship. And I'm excited for that, but masks and social distancing will be required.
I had that discussion with someone last night, and they said, we won't be back.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not going to be comfortable. Yeah.
That's
and
okay.
I know that we're all going to struggle with it.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to make their own choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be difficult. It's going to put you in a tough spot because people are going to ask you, Kurt, what should I do? Mm-hmm. Well, you don't know what you should do. You've got to do whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different for everybody. But it's going to be a struggle.
It is, but I believe we're going to be good on the other side of this.
Oh,
and even in the midst of it.
A little sunshine would help. Sunshine at 75 degrees.
Yeah. Oh Lord, could you sing Florida?
There you go.
But no, I think even in the midst of this, God's light shines. Even in the midst of the Israelites wandering through the desert, God's light was still with them. God's presence was with them.
Well, all through the Bible there are tests.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big one.
For us, it is.
Probably the biggest one I know at my age that I've probably faced. So obviously for you too. But this is a difficult. We'll make it through it. Some people won't.
Yeah.
But the majority of us will. But I don't now know what it's going to look like on the other side.
Right.
It's going to be different than when we went into this.
It will be.
No question about it.
But if we go through with our values of loving our neighbors, if we go through with our values of love God, love your neighbor, love yourself, do no harm, do good, stay in love with God. If we hold those true, I think we will look more like Jesus regardless what everything else pans out to be.
Well, we hope so.
That's the hope. So the song I picked for today, I picked before we had this conversation, but I think it's a necessary song for this conversation. So it's called Shine, Jesus, Shine. Lord, the light of your love is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. That's one of the first praise songs I learned to play.
Really?
True story. True story. That and Lord, I lift your name on high, right? Same chords. Only a few more in this one. So, well, God bless you, and I pray that God's light will shine in you, and that the fire of the Spirit will keep you warm in these cold days, because this week, it's going to be cold.
It's cold.
God bless you, and John and I will see you on another day here real soon.